Have a pleasant day to all. I am Almira Jane Dumanayos, and now let's talk about President Carlos P. Garcia. And now let's talk about President Carlos Polistico Garcia. He was born on November 4, 1896. Carlos Polistico Garcia was the fourth President of the Republic of the Philippines on March 1957. And during the agrarian reform, President Carlos has no legislation passed, and he continued the program of the President Ramon Magsaysay. Carlos P. Garcia was noted for the enunciation of the Filipino First policy. This policy benefited the businessmen of the Philippines to increase support and protection from the government. And also, President Carlos P. Garcia opened a formal reparation negotiations in an effort to end the 9-year technical state of the war between Japan and the Philippines that leads to an agreement between Japan and Philippines in April 1954.
Today, I will discuss the President Diosdado Macapagal 1961-1965 enacted following laws. Why President Diosdado Macapagal was considered the father of agrarian reform. It was during his term that the Agricultural Lands Reform Code, or RA number 3844, was enacted on August 8, 1963. It was considered to be the most comprehensive piece of agrarian reform legislation ever enacted in a country that time. Why was RA number 3844 considered the most comprehensive piece of legislation ever enacted in the Philippines? This act published shared tenancy in the Philippines. It prescribed a program conserving the Tibian farmers of lesses and eventually into owner cultivators. It aims to free tenants from the bondage of the tenancy and gave hope for Filipino farmers to own the land are tilling and emphasize the honor of cultivatorship and farmer independence, equity, productivity, improvement, and the public distribution of the land. What happened to the implementation of this act? The Congress did not provide effort come up with a separate bill to provide funding and its implementation. However, this act was piloted in the province of Pangasinan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Tarlac, Occidental Mindoro, Camarines Sur, and Misamis Occidental. It acquired a total of 18,244.6 hectares or 99.29% out of the total scope of 18,377.5 hectares. The program benefited in 7,466 farmer beneficiaries. As of now, maraming mga magsasaka ang walang sariling lupa at nangungupahan lamang ng lupa. Kung dito sa atin ay nag-maintain, ang kaso lamang po pagdating ng harvest kung sino yung nanglilinang, nagkapagod at nag-aalaga, sila rin yung maliliit na nakukuha. Kumbaga, 1/4 or 1/8 lang yung nagiging hatian. Kaya po medyo tinatamad na yung iba at nawawala na ng hanap buhay. Kaya this law na ipinapatupad ni former President Diosdado is para mapatupad na wala ng lupa-lupa, kundi magkaroon ng mga maliliit na lupa ang every farmer. Kumbaga, bibili ng lupa ang bangko at ibinibenta ito sa mga magsasaka with a low price para afford ng mga karamihan. This way, magkakaroon ng courage and strength ang mga magsasaka na mapagpatuloy.
Our topic today is all about President Descaldo P. Macapagal in 1961 to 1965 enacted the following law. Republic Act number 3844 of August 8, 1963. Agricultural Land Reform Code. Distribution of private land to farmers on easy term of payment. So kung uutang ang mga farmers ng lupa sa kanilang landlord, dapat ang pagbayad nila is easy term. Tulad ng hulog-hulugan or something na madali lang sa kanila na pagbayad. Next is retention limit of 7 hectares. So kung may kumpanya ka or business, kailangan is 75 hectares lang ang iyong lupang magagamit. And we have an exemption of a big company. Kung malaki ang iyong kumpanya sa at hindi sakto ang 75 hectares, pwede ka pang mas lalaki pa sa 75 hectares ang kukunin mo na lupa. Transfer of landlordism. Ito naman, kung ang isang landlord ay hindi gusto yung unang pamamalakad na distribution of private land, ay ito ang kanilang ginagawa para hindi nila mabenta ang kanilang mga lupa. So pinagpapalit-palit nila ang kanilang mga tauhan para mas madali sa kanila ang pagbibenta ang kanilang lupa.
Good day, everyone. I am Jericho Cristapa from Group 5 of Ge8 9140. And the topic that was assigned to me is our late President Ferdinand Emmanuel Adralin Marcos. And here are some information about him. I will just mention few so that I could fast track everything. He was born on September 11, 1917, died on September 28, 1989 at Honolulu, Hawaii. And the reason is because of cardiovascular disease. His presidential term is from December 30, 1965 up to February 25, 1986. The next slide would be the enacted laws. The new society period began on September 21, 1972 with Proclamation number 1081. The whole nation was declared a land reform region 5 days after martial law was declared, and the Agrarian Reform Program was enacted at the same time. Next is the Department of Agrarian Reform and the Agrarian Reform Special Account Fund were established by the Republic Act number 6389, Code of Agrarian Reform, and the Republic Act of 6390 of 1971. It increases farmers' position while also broadening the scope of agrarian reform. Next would be the presidential decree, and this would be reported by my co-presenters.
Good afternoon, everyone. So at this moment, I will be discussing to you the Agrarian Reform Law under the presidency of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. So under his administration, he proposed two presidential decrees, which are the Presidential Decree number 2, and the Presidential Decree number 27. So first, we have the Presidential Decree number 2. So he signed this on September 26, 1972. It is said that it declared the country under land reform program. So it enjoined all agencies and offices of the government to extend full cooperation and assistance to the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR. It also activated the Agrarian Reform Coordinating Council. So this decree stated of the reforming of land involving the changing of laws, regulation of customs regarding land ownership. It basically entails of countries' landowners be reciprocated into new terms with the assistance of DAR, and giving up it is to achieve dignified existence for the small farmers free from the pernicious institutional restraints and practices which have not only retarded the agricultural development of the country, but have also produced widespread discontent and unrest among our farmers, one of the causes of the existing national emergencies. So right after this presidential decree, he also made the presidential decree number 27. So he signed this on October 21, 1972. So this entails, or this talks about the restricted land reform scope of tenanted rice and corn lands and set the retention limit at 7 hectares. So this decree is also called as the decreeing the emancipation of tenants from the bondage of the soil, transferring to them the ownership of the land they till and providing them instruments and mechanism therefore. So it gives ample right for the owner, tenant, and farmer in resolving issues about land agreement, as the old idea of land proprietorship by a few has brought forth substantial and real complaints that led to fierce struggles and social pressure. So the proposed decree tends to establish action of the crisis, and even had every October, every Filipino farmer celebrates Peasant Month, coinciding with the issuance of presidential decree. So it was supposed to be the emancipation of tenants from the bondage of the soil. So learning the set of agrarian reform law is something that each administration had been looking after since then, or has been pushing through since then. So it contributes greatly to the country's economy and agricultural relationship with this past administration, or the past presidency. The law signature, or each law signature, abides to the needs and rights of parties involved to achieve peace manner in this sector. So that would be all. That being said are the, or that being mentioned are the decrees under the presidential decree under the administration of our former president Ferdinand Marcos Sr. So thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. So I am Charja M. Butang. This is Group 5's report under Prof. Leia Baclaan. Thank you so much.